Hello, people. It is Halloween, or at least it's being celebrated today. Um, you're looking at me. You cannot minimize. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm going to move this to the side, though. Okay, Halloween. Today is October, I have to say the 30th, maybe the 31st, here in Baton Rouge, 2024. And which brings me to this wonderful story of Halloween. It's not a story, it's an event. We sell a lot of candy. Of course, the Halloween we celebrate today is so toned down from what it used to be. Where's it come from? Why do we say the word Halloween? Start off with Halloween, of course. It comes from All Hallows Eve, which was a feast day established, well, actually established in the 6th century, but it was the day to celebrate all of the saints, the All Saints' Day, all those that had been hallowed by going into heaven, the martyrs that had died during the persecutions, Roman persecutions, and the saints. So All Hallows Eve is the eve, the night before that day. Now, it dates back to the Celtic ceremony of sowing. Of course, as you know, the Celts lived in England, northern France, Ireland, Scotland, all up in that area were huge, very large bunch of people. And they had celebrations at the end of the summer and when winter was going to start called Samhain. It's spelled Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain. And they lived 2,000-3,000 years ago, mostly in that area. The day marked the end of summer, and they know that the cold weather is coming. It's going to be freezing. We're going to have lots of death. So the boundary between the end of summer and the beginning of winter was marked on October 31st. And during that day, the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred. The dead ghosts could come back, ooh, and the living could communicate with them. And of course, the Celtic priests, the druids, had special powers. They wore antlers on their heads to demonstrate their power, but they could tell the future. And if they would, the common people would do that too. They would put skins on and try to tell each other's future on this night. The people, the Celts, would extinguish their little home hearth fires, and the Druids would build this huge bonfire to celebrate the fact that we're going into winter. A lot of people are going to die, and we can communicate with them now. They thought that thing would pass back and forth. So you've got the Celts celebrating this by dressing up in different hides. It may be to disguise themselves, or it may just be to foretell the future. Having big bonfires. At the end of the ceremony, everyone would take some of the sacred fire and bring it back to their homes to relight their hearth. So, because it's a scary time, they don't know who's going to die. The people were at the entire mercy of the weather. If a blizzard blew in for 3 weeks, they didn't know. So they were hoping to foretell, is it going to be a bad winter, a good spring, things like that. But then the Romans came, and the Romans conquered that area and ruled England 400 years. No, yeah, until about 400. They didn't leave until the early 1st century. But anyway, so the Romans usually accepted the cultures of a place, whatever they would, the way they ran things. They usually, in my opinion, or whatever I've been told, whatever was going on, cool, just give us our tribute, and you can go on and do your celebrations and do whatever you want. But the Romans brought 2 of their own holidays, and they kind of combined them with this thing over the 400 years period. They brought Feralia, which was a day in late October when the Romans traditionally honored their dead. And the second was Pomona. Now, Pomona was the goddess of fruit, trees, and her symbol was an apple. So they kind of combined that with that ceremony, and I think, and a lot of historians may think, that we used to have a tradition of bobbing for apples because the apple was a symbol of Pomona. They don't do that anymore, but hey, a Halloween party, man, big deal. You had this bucket, big, large container with apples bobbing in there, and you had to put your hands behind your back and try to grab the apple with your teeth. I know that was high entertainment, folks. We didn't have anything else. Okay. So the Roman Empire kind of combined them. You've got the Celtic celebration, which is still going on. They would do it, and the Romans brought in two of their own to combine with it, which is good. But then the Christianity came in obviously the first and second century, and third you would have missionaries going in there, and the missionaries brought Christianity, like St. Patrick and I think St. Anselm, whoever. They went up in there and they were converting the people to Christianity. But they combined Christianity with that. They used that. A lot of people think that the All Souls Day, which is All Saints Day is November the 1st, All Souls Day is November the 2nd. All Souls Day is the day when we remember the dead. We would go clean off the graves and remember those people. Okay, so we got these three things. We got the ancient Celtic celebrations, and they're still going on. The Romans put some things on top of it, and then Christianity added a little bit too. So what Christianity added was this Old Souls Day to kind of use the honoring of the dead in a more spiritual way. Now, the Christianity had All Saints Day. That was done back in the 609 to honor the martyrs. But this was kind of combined with that and put on November the 1st, which means that the day before, now is All Hallows Eve. Now, okay, let's talk about trick-or-treating. With Christianity came some of the poor people and the children would go from house to house of the more affluent and offer to pray on that day for the souls of the people that had departed. Of course, this was combined with the All Saints Day coming up. And as a result, they would be giving a little gift, maybe a cake or something, and it was called souling. You were going to pray for their souls. Okay, so from that, later on, people started saying, hey, this is a good deal. And children usually would dress up. That's what's called guising, disguising. Think about that. Guising. And they would perform an act, recite a poem, do a trick or something, and then they would say, yeah, I got something for me. And they'll receive a little gift because it was nice. So we went from that. We've got the three traditions combining here. Today, and of course, England kept a lot of these, and brought them over to America. That's why we've got Halloween today. I'm not going to go into how the early days of early days of America, it was suppressed a lot. But the point is, Halloween, All Hallows Eve, is still celebrated. It's in a very mild way from what it used to be. But that's where it comes from. It's a combination of three basic traditions: your Celtic, your Roman, and your Christianity, combined with Christianity. All for a good purpose, folks. All for a wonderful purpose, a good holiday. This is Phil, and that's all I gotta say. I hope that you get lots of candy. We don't give out candy. We should, but we don't. All right, folks. Bye-bye.